And on Monday's lesson, we were talking about factorization. And that's exactly where we're going to pick up from again today. So we're going to remember that these are the different types of factorizations that we get for grade 10. Okay. I don't think there's any other kind of factorization. Well, there is some, but we only learn about that in like matric and whatever. So we're not going to worry about all of that. These are the different types of factorization that we get. And for those of you who did join me on Monday, I'm going to ask you guys one more time. What is our default setting? When it comes to factorization, what is the one thing we always want to make sure we look out for? Who remembers? You can type it in the chat. You can unmute. I'm happy either way. Who remembers what it was? Yes, Desmarie, beautiful. That's it. We must always look for the highest common factor. Always, always, always. Guys, we call it a default setting because it's the one thing we must always, always look for first. It's the first thing. All right, so we must always look for the default setting first. After that, then we can look at the difference of two squares. And we know that the difference of two squares literally means that difference means minus. 2 means that we must have two terms. And squares must mean that both of our two terms must be perfect squares. They must be perfect squares. And that's where the idea of dots comes from, perfect squares. All right, then we're going to get trinomials, which are always three terms. So we always have something like x squared plus 7x plus 12, something like that. Right, there's always going to be three terms, and that's why we call it trinomial, like a tricycle, like a triathlon, three terms that we're looking at. So today we're going to be looking at trinomials in a little bit more detail, and then we're going to delve into grouping a little bit, but we don't want to worry too much about grouping because grouping is actually the same as HCF. And I will show you guys why grouping is actually HCF. They are basically the same thing. And then we're going to talk about the sum and difference of cubes. But for now, I'm going to give you all 5 minutes. Look at the 4 questions that I've given you over here on the right-hand side. Okay, you've got 5 minutes to factorize the following. And then when you're ready, you can pop your favorite emoji in the chat. I'm going to pop my favorite emoji today. I'll tell you guys how I'm feeling. Because sure, guys, it's been a day, but I'm feeling a bit fluey. I feel like my nose is clogged up. So that's my emoji of the day. Once you guys have factorized all of these, you can pop your favorite emoji in the chat and then we'll talk. All right, good luck, guys. Remember, guys, feel free to ask questions. If you're stuck anywhere, if you need help, I'm right here. You can pop your question in the chat or you can raise your hand or unmute. Okay, there's enough of us in here that we can unmute. Few more minutes, guys, and Goket's is telling me that she's stuck on question 3. That's okay. We're going to talk about trinomials in a little bit more detail today, Goketso. Okay. So maybe, the last one is also a cube. So it's going to be a bit difficult for you to do that one if you haven't done it before. Okay, so maybe just flag it, and then I will get to it when we answer it in just a bit. All right. All right, peeps, that's time. If you're not quite done, that's okay. We're going to go through the questions together, so don't stress. All right, let me ask a couple of base questions. You guys can pop your answers in the chat as we go, but I'm first going to ask, before we even start attempting any of these questions, let's just identify which form of factorization we're going to use for each of these. For number 1, who can tell me what kind of factorization are we going to use for number 1? Who's got an idea? Anybody? Somebody? Okay, this one is not that difficult. It is a binomial, Koketso, but yes, the technique we're actually going to use is dots, and not dots, sorry, HCF. Sorry, yes, hello, Morangi. Yes, thank you, Tabo, it's HCF. We need to look for the highest common factor. Even if there wasn't highest common factor, we would first have to check to make sure that there is a highest common factor or not. All right, so for that one, we're going to use highest common factor. And I know if I look at it over here, the numbers that they have in common over here, in the numbers, they have 8 in common. So I'm going to take 8 out as the highest common factor. And then for my x's, I can tell that x cubed will be the highest common factor among them. So I'm going to take 8x cubed out. Now, remember we said that when we are factorizing, it's the same thing as almost dividing, taking out the thing that they have in common. So we're going to divide 16x to the power 4 by 8x cubed, and we're going to divide 8x cubed by 8x cubed, right? And what I should get here, 16 divided by 8 will give me 2. X to the power 4 divided by x to the power 3 will give me x. And then negative 8x to the power cube divided by 8 to the power cube will give me minus 1. All right. And that's the answer we would get here. All right. Now, if we look at number 2, let's look at number 2. What kind of factorization are we going to use at number 2, guys? Oh, and my nose is just doing me in. What kind of factorization are we looking at number 2? I'm going to remind you guys again, remember our default setting. What would we look for first? Correct, Tseho, thank you. It would be HCF first, but it doesn't mean that's the only thing that we're going to do. I just need some space because there's a little bit more. We're first going to start with HCF, and then after HCF, there's going to be a little bit something else. All right, so I know that my HCF over here is going to be a number that can go both into 18 and into 8. That's going to be 2. So if I take 2 out, I'm going to divide here by 2, divide there by 2. I'm going to end up with 9x squared minus 4. Now, this inside the bracket looks like a different type of factorization. What kind of factorization are we looking at over there? What do we see, guys? Good. Oh, Tsefo, you're on fire today. Well done. Yes, this is a difference of 2 squares. It's dots. It is. So we're going to leave the 2 on the outside, and then we're going to open 2 brackets. And remember, for difference of 2 squares, we must have opposing signs in each of our brackets. So I'm going to put a minus there, and I'm going to put a plus there. And then I'm going to square root this part, the whole thing, and then I'm going to square root that whole part. So 9x squared will give me 3x. So I'm going to put 3x here, and I'm going to put 3x there. And then the square root of 4 is just going to give me 2. Oh, I almost wrote 4. Oh, no, it's 2. 2 and 2. All right, and that's how we do that one. All right, excellent. Now, when we get to number 3, what kind of factorization are we looking at for number 3? What are we looking at over here, number 3, guys? Hello, Tandolwetu. Hi, Kat. Oh, it's not going to be HCF in this case, Kuketo, because there is no HCF, right? Yes, but Morangi and Sehu, you've got the right idea. It's a trinomial because there are 3 terms. I've got 1, 2, 3 terms. So that's going to be a trinomial. And whenever we see a trinomial, we're going to open 2 brackets. Right. No worries, Tandolwetu, welcome. Right. Now, remember what ma'am said. And for those of you who weren't here on Monday, I'm going to reiterate quickly. All right. Whenever we see a trinomial, first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at this sign over here. Now, I already know automatically that one of my triangle or one of my binomials brackets must have a negative in it. So I'm going to immediately put a negative here. And then I'm going to ask myself, a negative times a what will give me a negative? A negative times what? Tell me in the chat. Negative times? That's it, Amanda. Beautiful, Tejo, that's it. A negative times a positive, which means my other bracket must have a positive in it. So this will have a positive. Then we're going to find the factors of x squared. That's just going to give me x and x. All right, and then my 12 over here, I now need to find factors of 12 that when minused or added are going to give me negative 11. So can we think of 2 factors of 12 that if we add or subtract them, they're going to give us 11 or negative 11? We can think of those 2 numbers. If I think about it, let's think about the factors of 12. I know 2 times 6 would give me that, but 2 minus 6 is going to give us 4. 6 minus 2 is going to give us negative 4. That's not going to help. But Amanda, you've got the perfect idea. Good. That one's not going to work. We can use 1 times 12. We know that 1 times 12 will give us 12, but we want negative 11. So I'm going to make my 12 negative. So 1 minus 12 will give me negative 11 because we're not actually multiplying. We want that. So my 2 factors are going to be positive 1 and negative 12. So I just need to make sure I put them in the correct order. So I'm going to put a 12 here and a 1 there. All right. Okay. Now, number 4, I'm going to ask us to hold off on. We're going to come back to it. We'll come back. All right. Because that's a sum and difference of cubes. And I actually have a nice formula that we can use just to learn how to do it so that it's not overpowering. But today, we're going to be focusing a little bit more on trinomials. Okay, before we get into those, I want us to try and factorize the following trinomials. Right, let me not write that. Factorize x squared minus 7x plus 12. All right. Now, I know that it's a trinomial, so I'm going to open 2 brackets. Okay, I want you guys to tell me what are the 2 signs that go into each of these brackets. What sign am I going to put there and what sign am I going to put there? Oh, Tanolwetu, not the variables, I want the signs. Is it a minus or a plus? What are they going to be? I already know that one of them Correct. I heard that. Was that you, Lutando?
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. What sign is going to go in this first bracket? We're going to have a minus, right? Now, we need to think to ourselves, a minus times a what will give me a positive? A minus times a? Correct, Sejo, that's it, Sia. A minus times a minus. So my second bracket must also have a minus. Okay, so I'm going to put, and then I'm going to put the factors of x squared. I'm going to have x and x. Right, now, guys, we're going to go look for factors of 12 that when I minus them or plus them, they must give me -7. So if I try 2 times 6, I know that's going to give me 12. But if I try and add them up, let's see, I'm going to get 6 minus 2, that's going to give me 4. That's not going to work. 2 minus 6 is going to give me -4. That's not going to work. So 2 times 6 is not going to work. Right. Let's try 1 times 12. 1 times 12. 12 minus 1 will give me positive 11. That's not going to work. And 1 minus 12, that's negative 11. That doesn't work either. Right. So Desmarais says we should try 4 times 3. Let's see if that's actually going to work. 4 times 3 is indeed equal to 12. But I know I want -7. So what if I made both of them negative? What if I went -3 minus 4? That's it, Morangi. Well done. That's going to give me -7. So I know that both my signs must be negative. So I can then go -3 and -4. Give me a thumbs up in the chat. Are you guys okay with the idea of how we get to the numbers that we need in each of the brackets? Should I do another example? Let me know in the chat. I'm just quickly going to grab my tissue because my nose, oh my goodness. Okay, Sia says yes. Sia, is that yes, we should try another example, or yes, you understand? Let me see here. Morangi says one more example. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. Oh. All right. Here's another example that we can try. All right. I'm going to have x squared plus 11x plus 30. Right. Let's factorize this. I want us to see how we're going to get this. Okay. So I know that it's a trinomial. So I'm automatically going to open up 2 brackets. First thing I know, the first sign is already positive. Right. So I want you guys to tell me in the chat. A positive times a what will give me a positive? A positive times what? Correct, Tseho. Oh, Tseho, you are so good at this. Well done. That's it, Tandole 2. Excellent. A positive times a positive. So I know that my next bracket must also have a positive in it. Okay, then I'm going to look for the factors of x squared. I'm going to put x here, and I'm going to put x there. All right. Now, we need to find factors of 30 so that when I minus or plus, they're going to give me 11. Positive 11. Who can think of 2 numbers? Give me 2 numbers, peeps. What times what equals 30? Think about it. Yes, Sia. Hi,
Hello,
Sia.
ma'am.
Hello. Which 2 numbers do we think we're looking for?
Is it 6 and 4? I mean 6 and
Well,
5. Sorry.
6 times 4 is not going to give me 30, but 6 times 5 will, yes, right? So I know that 6 times 5 is 30. Why did you choose 6 times 5? Because
Ma'am, 6 times 5 is 30 and 6 plus 5 is 11.
beautiful. 6 plus 5 is also going to give us 11. Well done, Sia. That's exactly what I was looking for. Well done. So I know that I'm going to put a positive 6 and a positive 5. Nice job, dude. Well done. Amazing. Whew. Okay, we're off to a great start. Okay, I want to give us one more. Just one more. We're going to do it very, very quickly because we do need to move. All right, here's the last one. X squared minus 8x plus 7. All right, and I've made it nice and easy. So if anybody wants to venture to do this one with me, I implore you to raise your hand. I'm happy to have you walk me through this particular question and tell me what the answer will look like. Okay, but if you think you know the answer and you're a little unsure and you're too shy and you don't want to unmute, you can just pop your answer in the chat for me. Marangi, yeah, let's go. All right. Hello, Marangi.
Hello, man.
How are we doing today?
Doing good, man.
Excellent, excellent. I'm glad to hear it. All right, Marangi, tell me first, what sign is going to go in this first bracket?
Negative sign, man.
Good, a negative sign is going to go here. Good. Now I'm going to ask you, a negative times a what will give us a positive times?
Negative.
Beautiful, good. So we know that a negative will go in our other bracket, right? What goes here at the beginning?
Man, it's gonna be X.
Good. So I'm going to put X and X. Let's go to 7. What are the two factors of 7 that we need?
Two factors of 7.
Something times something equals 7.
I know 1 times 7 equals 7.
Yes, 100%. I don't think we're going to find another one. Do you know why, Marangi? It's because 7 is a prime number, and prime
Yes,
numbers
ma'am.
only have 2 factors, right? So the only factors are 1 and 7. So how are we going to use 1 and 7 to get to negative 8?
Ma'am, we're gonna say
I'll give you a hint. The signs tell us. I know that both of my numbers must be what? Negative, right?
oh yes, ma'am. It's 7 minus wait. Oh,
If you're a little stuck, check in the chat.
-1 minus 7.
Good. What is negative 1 minus 7?
It's -8.
Beautiful. It's negative 8. So that's exactly what we're looking for, right? So I can just put a
Yes, ma'am.
-1. Look there. We've already got our negative there. And over here, -7. That makes it so much easier for us to see. Well done, Morangi. That's exactly what I needed. Well done.
Thank you, ma'am.
Amazing stuff. All right. Okay. Now, guys, I'm going to have to step it up a little bit. All right. Now, I'm going to have to let's look at number 1. Before we even go into the question itself, let's start by asking the obvious question. What is the first thing we must always look for? What is our default setting, grade 10s? What is our default setting? Ah, Seho, amazing. HCF. Let's look for HCF. Well done, Morangi and Sia. Yes. Let's look for a highest common factor. Do we have a highest common factor within these 3 terms? Do we have a highest common factor? Yes or no?
Yes.
Ooh, what is our highest common factor? What do 3, -11, and -4 have in common?
It has a factor of 1.
Of 1, but okay, I'm not sure who I'm speaking to, but when you say 1, is there anything that we can take out apart from 1 that will make a difference?
No.
No, it won't, Teho. No. Oh, is it Teho? No, it's not. It's Cat. Hi, Cat. Okay, so it's not going to make a difference, my sweetie. Thank you very much. That's exactly the answer I was looking for. If we take out a factor of 1, nothing is going to change. We're going to have the exact same thing again. So now we're going to have a problem because the number in front of x squared is no longer 1. It's 3. So that's going to pose a bit of a problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to learn the cross method. I'm just going to ask you guys in the chat, put a thumbs up if your teacher at school has already taught you the cross method, or thumbs down if your teacher hasn't. Okay, Amanda says no. Tejo says yes. Desmarie says no. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of no's. All right, which is fine. I'm going to try and take it slowly. Right, so I want you guys to notice something. In all these questions that we were doing over here, Ma'am was always saying, I was always saying to you guys that I'm finding the factors of x squared. Now, the same way we have to find the factors of 7. We said that the factors of 7 are 1 and 7, right? So let me ask you guys, what are the factors of x squared? What are the two variables that make up x squared? What are those
It's
two
x and
variables?
x.
Beautiful. That's it.
X.
X and x. X times x is going to give us x squared. Well done, Kat. Good. Now, if we go over here, I don't actually have x squared. I've got 3x squared. I've got 3x squared. So what I'm going to do now is I'm also going to have to find the factors of 3x squared. So when we use the cross method, we're going to do this. On this side, we're going to look for the factors of 3x squared. Give me a yes in the chat if you agree with me that the factors of x squared are going to be x and x. Do we agree? Yes? Good, Tandolwe too. Good. Right. Excellent. We're all in it together. Good. We know that the factors of x squared are going to be x and x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split it. I'm going to put an x here and I'm going to put an x here. But we're not done. We're not done. What we then need to do next is we need to find the factors of 3. What are the factors of 3, guys? What are the factors of 3? Good, Tandolwe 2, that's it. Good. We know we're going to have 1 times 3, which is kind of helpful because 3 is actually a prime number, so we're only going to get those 2. So I'm going to take each of these and I'm going to put them next to an x. I'm going to go 1x and 3x. And I can do this because I know that if I multiply these two, if I take 1x and I multiply it with 3x, it's going to bring me back to 3x squared. It's going to take me back to the answer that I have over there. Give me a thumbs up. Are you guys understanding what ma'am has done? Are you guys with me? We're all good. Good, Tanduleti. Excellent. All right, good, Sia. So we've got the two factors of 3x squared. Now, on the other side, on this side of my cross, I'm going to go and look for the factors of 4. What are the factors of 4? Let's think about this. What are the factors of 4, guys?
1, 2.
Good. 1
and
times what? 1 times what? You have to tell me 1
1
times
times
something. Good. 1 times 4 and?
2 times 2 and 4 times 1.
Beautiful. Good. 1 times 2 and 1 times 4 and 2 times 2. Well done. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to play a little bit of trial and error. We're going to see what works and what doesn't. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with the factors 1 times 4, right? I'm going to put them here. I'm going to go 1 and 4. All right. Now, our goal, the goal of this whole exercise is for us to get negative 11x. But what we're going to do, because this is the cross method, what we're going to do is we're going to cross multiply. So I'm going to go 1x times 4 is going to equal 4x. And 3x times 1 is going to equal 3x. Now, if I look at these two numbers, if I add or subtract them, let's say I add them together, they're going to give me 7x. If I subtract them, are they going to give me 11x? Is that going to work, guys? No, it's not going to work. No, it's not going to work. So before I move on to the other ones, maybe what I need to do, and now I've erased my cross. Okay, maybe what I need to do is I need to swap the numbers around. Let's see if that works. What if I write 4 over here and I write 1 over here? Now let's cross multiply. 3x times 4 will give me 12x. And 1x times 1 will give me 1x. Now let's think about this. 12 plus 1x, 12x plus 1x will give me 13x. That's not what I want, right? But I know that 12 minus, correct, 12 minus 1x will give me positive 11x. Do I want positive 11x? No, I want negative 11x. So between the 1 and the 12, which one should be negative? Which one should be negative? The 1 or the 12? Good, Amanda. That's it. Seho, good. We want the 12 to be negative. So what we actually want is for this negative to be up here, because negative 12 plus 1 will give us the negative 11 we're looking for. It will give us negative 11. What this negative over here tells me is that it actually belongs to 4. That's what the negative is telling me. It's telling me it belongs to 4. Now, the way I'm going to put this back into my bracket is I'm going to take this part and that part. That's my first bracket. And then this part and that part, and that's my second bracket. So in my first bracket over here, I'm going to put 1x, or 1x is just x, minus 4, okay, because that's x minus 4. And in the other bracket, I'm going to put 3x plus 1. All right. Sure. How did we feel about that? Tough? Easy? How did we feel? When I first saw it, when I was in grade 10, I was like, yo, ah la la, ma'am. I looked at my teacher and I was like, ah, sir, no, it's fine. It's fine. I know Sia's like hectic, which is fine, because at the end of this lesson, it's okay, Morangi, we're going to do another example. We're going to do another example. Actually, we're going to do plenty. Okay. I'm going to explain again, Tandolo, too. Nothing. Amanda, if you swap the brackets around, nothing happens. It's exactly the same. Okay. It's exactly the same thing. Don't stress. You can write 3x plus 1 and x minus 4. It won't make a difference. Okay. But at the end of this lesson, I'm going to teach you guys a little trick that you can do on your calculator. Okay. Let's do this one. Let's look at this one over here. Right. Now, before we even get started on the question itself, I'm going to ask you again, what is our default setting? What is the first thing we need to check for? What do we need to check for? Yes, HCF. Do we have an HCF? What is the HCF? If there is one. Sorry, guys. Yes, correct. It's 2. It's 2. Because 2 can divide into all of these, right? We can divide 10 by 2, we can divide 14 by 2, and we can divide 4 by 2. All right. So if we do that, I'm going to end up with 5x squared plus 7x plus 2. And now I know for a fact that we don't have any factors in common, because both 5 and 7 and 2, they're all prime numbers. So they're not going to have anything but 1 in common. Right. Good. So we want to factorize 5x squared plus 7x plus 2. So now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over here and we're going to find the factors of 5x squared. Now the x squared part is easy. We already know that the factors of x squared are x times x. So I'm going to put x and x. What I want you guys to tell me are, what are the factors of 5? What are the factors of 5?
1 times 5.
Beautiful. Well done, Lutando. That's it. 1 times 5. So I'm going to then put a 1 here, and I'm going to put a 5 there. All right. That's the first part done. Let's go to the second part. Over here, I want the factors of 2. What are the factors of 2, guys? I feel like I'm asking an obvious question. What are the factors of 2?
1 times 2.
Thank you, Lutando. Absolutely. 1 times 2. Good. Now, remember, guys, we're going to put these in here randomly. We're going to put them in there randomly. We don't know which one is going to go where. right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 over here, and I'm going to put 1 over here. It doesn't matter which order we put it in. It's trial and error. Okay, it's trial and error. So we are then going to go here, and then we're going to cross multiply. So we're going to go 1x times 1 is going to give us 1x, right? And then I'm going to go 5x times 2, I know, is equal to 10x. I know, Sia, I know. Okay, what is our goal? What number are we trying to make? What is the goal that we're trying to get to, guys? Do we remember? Good, Tandolwetu, that's it. Yes, 100%. We're trying to get to 7x. Good, so let's go back here and let's see. I've got 10x, and if I maybe go plus 1x, that's going to give us 11x, so that's not going to work, right? What if I minus them? 10x minus 1x, that's going to give me what? 9x minus 1, that's not going to help. Nope, that's not going to work, right? So maybe let's switch them around. Maybe let's switch the 2 and the 1 around. What if I did this? If I put 2 here, no, other way around, teacher Coco. I put 1 here and I put 2 here. Now let's cross multiply, guys. 1x times 2 is going to give me 2x. And then 5x times 1 will give me 5x. Do I see it? Yes, I do. 5x plus 2x is going to give me 7x. And that's exactly what we need. We need 7x. Now, how do I put these back into my bracket? How do I put them back into my bracket? I'm going to, let me just close this part. It makes life so much easier. Okay, there we go. I'm going to put them exactly the way I see it. There and there, there and there. Are any of these numbers negative? Do I need to minus any of the numbers? Yes or no? No, none of them are negative. So both of my numbers will be +1 and +2. And that's how we're going to put them in our bracket. So I'm going to start with the first one. I'm going to get x plus 1 because I have 1x. 1x is just the same as x. And then over here, I'm going to get 5x plus 2. Morangi, is it making a little bit more sense? Tell me, guys, how are we feeling? Okay? Okay-ish? Thumbs up, thumbs down. How do we feel? A bit more sense. Yeah. Lutando, what's up, my sweetie?
Man, may we please do one more example? I'm just a little confused.
Absolutely. Look, we have got number 3, and then I've got another one, and I've got another one, and we're going to keep going. Do you want to do this one with me? I want you to do this one
Yes,
with me. Is that
ma'am.
okay? Excellent. All right. Okay. First thing we're going to do, what's the first thing we're always going to do, Lutando? Look for what? You can unmute for me, and you
Ma'am.
can... Yes.
Ma'am, I had a question about the second one.
Okay.
Since
Yes.
the highest common factor was 2, aren't we supposed to like write 2, then open brackets, then put the like answer we got inside the brackets?
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you, Kat. Oh, guys. Yo, Kat, well done. Yo, guys, look at what I forgot. I feel like Kat could teach this class now. I forgot to put the 2 that we took out as part of the question. Girl, well done for saving everybody.
Dang.
Okay, so here is my stylus. I feel like you can now teach the grade 10 class because, I mean, well done, Jane. Well done. Well done, Kat. Guys, Kat reminded us that we took 2 out as a common factor. Well done. Oh, guys, it just completely forgot. Nice catch, Kat. Well done. Okay. Whew, thank you very much. Yes, I would call her Miss Kat. Like the grade 9 teacher, Miss Kat. Yes, I see it. Well done. Okay, Lutando, are you ready, my sweetie? Can we go, can we go on to the next one? Are you
Yes,
ready?
ma'am.
All right,
Yes.
good. So don't make the same mistake that we made. Remember what teacher Kat just told us. Miss Kat is very good. Right. What are we noticing in that first question there? What do we see? What is our default setting? What must we always look for first?
The HC, highest common factor.
Correct. What is our highest common factor?
Ma'am, it's the 3.
Good, it's 3. So we're going to take 3 out. Let's divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. Now you have to tell me, if I take 3 out, what do I have left?
The square root of 2.
No, remember, all we're going to do is we're going to divide each of them by 3. Okay, so we're going to take 6x squared divided by 3. Okay, so what is 6 divided by 3?
2.
Good, it's going to be 2, but don't forget the x squared. It must come with us. So it's going to be 2x squared. What about over here? I'm going to have negative 9x divided by 3. What's that going to give us?
Ma'am, it's going to give us a negative 3.
Negative 3 what?
X.
Good, don't forget the x. Good. Plus, what's next? 3 divided by 3 will give us?
Ma'am, a positive 1.
1, positive 1. Excellent. Well done. Okay, good. Now we know that we need to find the factors of 2x squared. And I feel like this question is too easy. And the factors of 1. All right. So at the beginning, I'm going to put the factors of 2x squared. And at the end, I'm going to put the factors of which number?
1.
1, which is nice and easy. Okay, let's start over here. The x squared is easy. What are the 2 factors of x squared?
1 and 2.
Okay, good. For 2, that's 1 times 2. What about x squared?
1.
For x squared, my sweetie, x squared. How do we get x squared? Which 2
Oh,
variables?
it's 2 x's, ma'am. We have 2 x's.
Correct. It's just x times x. Correct. Okay, so I'm going to put an x here, and I'm going to put an x here. What numbers can I put next to the x's over here?
Ma'am, what 2?
2x and what was the other factor of 2?
1.
Good, and 1x, beautiful. Now we're done with this side. Let's go to the other side. What is this question really? What are the factors of 1?
Ma'am, it's 1.
1 and 1, right? Good. So what am I going to put up top here?
Ma'am, the 1.
And at the bottom?
1.
Good. And Sia's laughing at me. He's like, seriously, ma'am? Seriously. I know. Okay. So now we're going to have to cross multiply, my sweetie. So tell me, if we go from the bottom, 1x times 1 will give us how much?
1.
It's going to give us 1 what? 1?
X.
1x. Good. And then we're going to cross multiply the other way. 2x times 1 will give us?
Ma'am, 2x.
Good, 2x. And remember what our objective is, right? We want to get, what do we want to get, Lutando? We always want the middle term. What is our middle term? What is our middle term, sweetie?
I'm not too sure.
Okay, remember, here is our trinomial. Our trinomial reads 2x squared minus 3x plus 1. What is the middle term? Remember, we looked for the factors of 1, and we looked for the factors of... Correct. So the thing that we're looking for is negative 3x. All right. So if I look over here, Lutando, what happens if I add these two? If I say 1x plus 2x, what do I get?
3x and 2 square roots.
Right? I'm going to get 3x. However, I need minus 3x. How can I change 1x and 2x so that I end up with minus 3x?
Ma'am, please repeat the question.
How can I change the 1x and the 2x to make sure that I end up with minus 3x. Because remember, the term in the middle is actually minus 3. How can I change 1x and 2x to make minus 3x?
Ma'am, by -1 and -2 and -1.
Beautiful. And that will give us -3. Good. So I know that I must put a negative in front of 1, and I must put a negative in front of 2,
Negative in
because
front of
-1, yes, -1 minus 2 will give us -3. But these negatives don't belong here. They belong next to these two numbers, next to the ones. Okay. And then how am I going to put them in my bracket? I'm going to make that part one bracket. And then I'm going to make the bottom part one bracket. Okay, so tell me what to write in this first bracket. What am I going to write according to this?
-2.
Not -2. Look over here. This is my bracket. Do you see how I've drawn my bracket over here?
2x
2x. Good. Then look at that number.
minus
Minus?
-1. Minus -1.
Well, if we say minus -1, that's going to make that +1. So we can just say
Number
2x
1.
minus 1. Good. And then what about the bottom bracket? What do we have?
1x
Good. Or just x?
and a
And then
-1.
-1. That's it, Lutando. Well done, dude. Ah, beautiful. Okay, we're going to try another one. I want you to keep up with me. Okay, we're going to try one more. Give me a thumbs up, grade 10s. Do we want to try another one? Shall we try another? Yes? Okay, beautiful. Let's try this one. Okay, it's a little bit harder than the other ones, but I want us to see if we can actually get it. All right, let me write it down. Okay, here we go. 2x squared minus 7x plus 6. All right, I'm going to ask before we continue, what is our default setting? What is the first thing we always need to look for? Good, HCF. Do we have an HCF? I realize now that I left out the 3 that we took out over there. Do we have an HCF? Yes, good. CS says 1, which technically means no. Yes, you're correct, Tandoloetu. There is no common factor. We don't have an highest common factor because taking out 1 is nonsensical. It's pointless. Right. So what we're going to do is we are then going to take out, excuse me, we're going to draw a cross. Okay, we're going to draw our cross. Ooh. And then I'm going to open up 2 brackets. And then what goes over here? The factors of what? What factors go over here, guys? The factors of what number? Not just 2x Tandoloetu. What factors go in the front here? Amanda's given us the correct answer. But we know that we want the factors of 2x squared. Amanda has given us the correct answer. Automatically, we already know that the factors of x squared are going to be x and x. That's nice and easy. And then Amanda says we must put 1 and 2 because the factors of 2 are 1 times 2. That already works. Now, over here, what numbers factors are we looking for? Which number are we considering on this side? Good, Tandoloetu, but remember, Tandoloetu, I need you to match them. You can't just list all the factors of the number that we're looking for. You need to list them together. They go together, right? I know that this part, the first part, the part in purple is going to be 2x squared, and the part in blue needs to be 6. So tell me in the chat, guys, give them to me in pairs. What are the factors of 6? Good.
1, 2, 3, 6.
Okay, good, Lutando. But remember, you must give them to me together. All right. So we must say 1 times what? 1 times 6. And then we must say 2 times 3. Because if I'm looking for the factors of 6 and I'm doing this example, I can't then choose that I want to use 2 and 1. That doesn't work. I can't do that. If I'm going to use 2, I must also use 3. They must go together. And if I use 1, I must also use 6. I can't decide to interchange them. I must only use the factors that multiply to give me what I want. All right. Now, what number are we trying to make, grade 10s? What is the answer that we ultimately want at the end? What answer do we want over here? Good, Tandolwe 2. Say it. Yes, Kat, again?
-7.
-7 what?
X.
Beautiful, -7x. So I want you guys to choose. You can either start with 1 times 6, put the 1 here, put the 6 here. If that doesn't work, swap them around. Put the 6 here, put the 1 here. If those two numbers don't work, then we remove them and then we try 2 and 3. And if this order doesn't work, then we try it the other way. We will try 3 and 2. So I want you guys to try all of the orders and cross multiply. Remember to cross multiply. The thing that we want at the end is -7x. I want to see who's going to get to the answer for those two first. Okay. If you are still confused, can I just please ask you to put in the chat, ma'am, help me, let's do it together. I'm happy to do it with you guys if you're still a little stuck. Okay, I'm seeing that everybody's going to give it a go. Let's see if you guys can get it. All right. Oh, guys, this flu is going to be the death of me. Morangi says -6 -1. Okay, we'll see in a bit if that's true. Okay, 1 more minute, guys. Okay, Lutando says -1 -6, but Tejo says -4 -3. Ooh, right. Okay, let's try all of our options. Let's see what our options are going to give us. But remember, Tejo, we can't say -4 because -4 isn't one of the factors. All right. Oh, I think you mean 2 times 2, which will give us 4 and 3. Okay, I get you. Okay, I'm going to try first 2 and 3. I got you. Okay, I'm going to try 2 and 3. I'm going to put 2 here, and I'm going to put 3 there, and then I'm going to cross multiply. So 1 times 2, or 1x times 2 will give me 2x, and 2x times 3 will give me 6x. I already know I'm going to bump into a problem. 6 minus 2 is not going to give me 7. 6 plus 2 is not going to give me 7. So nope, that doesn't work. Maybe let's try it the other way around. Maybe let's put 2 here and let's put 3 there. If I do that, I'm going to get 2x times 2, which will give me 4x. And then 1x times 3, which will give me 3x. Ooh, look at that. Golden. Golden. Now, I know that I want it to be -7x, but at the moment I've got +4 and +3. How do I get to -7 with the numbers that I've got? What do I need to do, guys? Sejo's got the right idea. Well done. Both of them would need to be negative. So I'd need -4 and -3. Good. So I know that both of these numbers need to be negative. So I'm going to put a negative next to 2, and I'm going to put a negative next to 3, and then I'm going to, that's my first bracket. That's my second bracket. And that's how I'm going to put these into my brackets. All right. I'm going to have x minus 2 and 2x minus 3. For those of you who said 1 and 6, let's see what kind of problem it's going to pose, because it's not going to give us the answer we're looking for. All right. If I put, let's say I put 1 here and 6 there. So I'm then going to get 2x times 1. That's going to give me 2x. 1x times 6, that's going to give me 6x. I've got a problem. It won't work. It won't work. All right. Let's swap them around. Let's swap them around. If I put 6 here and I put 1 there, I'm going to get 2x times 6 is going to give me 12x, and 1x times 1 will give me 1x. So that's not going to work either. All right, so 1 and 6 will not work. The two combinations that will work are 1 and 3. Give me a thumbs up if what Ma'am and Seho have done here makes sense. Are we okay with the idea that we've just gone through? Are we okay with this? Handolwetu, it takes practice, my guy. It really does. It's all about practice. You're not going to get it the first time, I promise. It's just completely, it's difficult for us to get it the first time. Okay, it's always going to be difficult for us to get it. We will, but unfortunately, we're out of time today. I'm